What is up, guys? Gold Dizzy here, back at ya with another video. And before I start the topic of discussion, I wanted to give a shout out. I know, I already did a shout out video just a few days ago. However, I had an epic fail when I didn't mention this one channel. So I figured I would go ahead and mention him right here and now at the beginning of this video. The channel that I am going to tell you guys about is GovsFootball. This guy is really great, and from what I can tell, he has a really great understanding of what good wrestling is all about. So I'm going to put a link in the description box below. Click on that link, check out some of his videos, and if you like what you see, click that yellow subscribe button. I know he's this close to getting his first 100 subscribers, so let's see what we can do to get him there. But once again, the channel name is GovsFootball. Check him out and click that yellow subscribe button. Next, I want to remind you guys about this video idea that I have. A month or so ago, I told you guys about this idea and how I need you guys to make video responses. Now, the video response is very simple, my friend. All you have to do is make a very short 5 to 10 second long video saying 5 words. I am a wrestling fan. And that's it. Make that short video, post it as a video response to this video or to the original video that I made where I first talked about it. The more video responses I get, the better this video is going to be. Now to the topic of discussion. And today's topic on Wrestling With is managers. Managers played a huge and important role in wrestling once upon a time. Today they're not really thought of, but in the 80s and the 90s and even as far back as the 70s, managers really reigned supreme. Managers were as fun to watch as the wrestlers were. And that's just it. A manager had to have a persona of his own, a character, if you will. So the wrestlers not only had to have a good character to be entertaining, but the managers did as well. And there have been a lot of entertaining managers over the years. Let's talk about Paul Bearer. He really got into character. He managed the legendary Undertaker. He was dressed up like a Paul Bearer, hence his name, Paul Bearer, and he carried around the urn that held all of the Undertaker's magical powers, that gave him his strength. Harvey Whippleman is another manager that really got into character. He was always known for smoking on a fat cigar and wearing his golfer's cap and just looking like a really scruffy guy. He was very entertaining, to say the least. Now, Jimmy Hart is another manager that really got into character. He's very famous for his megaphone that he carried around. If he was a heel, that megaphone really got to be annoying because he's always screaming in it. Of course, he was always screaming in it as a face as well. However, when he was a heel, he would use that megaphone as a weapon. He would usually knock out the opponent, help his wrestler win the match. Speaking of heel managers and face managers, that brings me to my next point. What's better, a heel manager or a face manager? Well, let's try to break this down real quick. Heel managers, obviously they're there to help their guy win by any means necessary. And usually managers that had something in their hand, like Jimmy Hart who had the megaphone, or Paulie Dangerously who had the big ass Zach Morris cell phone, or Jim Cornette who had the tennis racket, usually those items would get used as weapons, and usually their guy would win because they would knock out the opponent. And also, the heel manager is just more entertaining. They're usually more entertaining in the promos, and like I said, they're just more entertaining when they're down at ringside because they're always up to no good. Bobby the Brain Heenan was another great heel manager because he would do absolutely anything. Now, face managers, they're more known as a cheerleader more than anything else. Now, Jimmy Hart played both roles, heel and face. And when he was managing guys like Hulk Hogan, he would just come out to the ring and say, "Okay, baby, let's go, baby, yeah, let's go, baby." That's all he would say the entire time. He wouldn't interfere. Of course, he couldn't because he was a face, but he was definitely cheering on the sideline. But managers, whether you're heel or face, are definitely important to wrestling. And I don't understand why they're not used today, because to me they're a vital role in making wrestling great. There have been some great managers that have came across the road of wrestling, and I want to discuss a few of those guys right now. And some managers have went on to manage a lot of wrestlers throughout their career. And another great thing about managers is that managers usually were wrestlers before they became managers, although some managers never had wrestled before in their life. Bobby the Brain Heenan, very famous for his Heenan family stable. He managed a lot of wrestlers. He has managed some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's managed guys like Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Harley Race, Andre the Giant, Rick Rude, and Mr. Perfect. But the Heenan family is probably one of the best stables of all time, in my opinion. And like I said, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he would do anything he possibly could to help his guy win the match. Paulie Dangerously, better known to you guys as Paul Heyman, is probably without a doubt one of my most favorite managers of all time. And plus, he was a part of definitely one of my most favorite stables of all time, the Dangerous Alliance. Paulie Dangerously has managed a lot of wrestlers as well. Mean Mark Callis, better known to you guys as The Undertaker. Of course, Stunning Steve Austin. Rick Rude as well, just like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Sabu, Taz, Brock Lesnar in his later years. But of course, Paulie Dangerously, more known as the father of Extreme Championship Wrestling. Jim Cornette, he's managed such greats as Buddy Landel, Double J Jeff Jarrett, Yokozuna, Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, and Matt Morgan as well. And he also managed the Midnight Express, another great legendary tag team. Captain Lou Albano, a wrestler and manager who recently just passed away, I believe, late last year. Also known for his ties with the Rock and wrestling connection with Cyndi Lauper. He has managed a lot of great wrestlers as well. Don Muraco, George the Animal Steel, Andre the Giant, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Hulk Hogan, and Pat Patterson. Now, let's not forget that there's also female managers as well. We can't forget that. And let's discuss a few of them right now. Sherry Martel, Sensational Sherry, Scary Sherry, whatever you want to call her. She has managed a lot of great wrestlers, such as Jake the Snake Roberts, Kevin Sullivan, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and Ted DiBiase, Sr., not Jr. Of course, Sherry Martel is no longer with us. Also, Miss Elizabeth. Of course, she is probably most famous for being with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Of course, they really did get married in real life, and they brought that storyline onto the TV screen in the old school WWF days. But of course, she managed Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan during their Mega Power days. Oh, that was such a great feud to watch. If you haven't seen it, try to check it out on YouTube. But she's also managed guys like Ric Flair, Lex Luger, Sting, and Chris Benoit. When the NWO was going on, she went over to WCW, got involved with those guys, and managed a lot of those guys. Another great thing about managers is that managers usually, like I said earlier, manage more than just one wrestler. And by doing so, we have seen some of the greatest stables of all time. And like I've just mentioned before, we've got to see a lot of great stables. You know, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he had the Heenan family. Paulie Dangerously had the Dangerous Alliance. Jim Cornette had Camp Cornette. And so on and so forth. But managers, to me, are definitely needed in wrestling. They play a small role, but yet big. Because sure, they're just down there, standing in the corner of the wrestler they're managing. However, depending on if they're heel or face, they can really play a major role in the outcome of a match. Ted DiBiase Jr., at least he has a valet. And valets also played a major role in wrestling back in the day as well. They're not really like managers. They're more like eye candy. And Maurice right now is Ted DiBiase's eye candy. However, she is playing a manager-like role, whereas she has interfered in matches and helped Ted DiBiase win. So we could definitely call her manager if we really had to, because she is showing signs of being a manager. But that's the video right now. Let me know what you guys think. Who was your favorite wrestling manager of all time? Who did you really hate watching as a kid? For all of you older wrestling fans that watch my videos. But let me know what you think. What do you like about managers and what do you dislike? And do you think they really need to make a comeback in wrestling? I know I think they do. But that's it for now. This is Gold Izzy. Peace out.